Hello. This is gonna be the first of a new series. It's more of a parody series. I'm gonna put it simple. If you're a fan of The Birdman, welcome to Exposing the Grift Lion King edition. This is the best I can do. I'm actually a bit more happy with myself than it looks like it might turn out better than I thought it would. So I'm gonna have to have the video up in the corner. But I was able to do this, so let's begin.
1. Uru, the Forgotten Queen. Before Mufasa, there was another ruler, and before Sarabi.
Actually, quickly, I will link so while this may look more like reaction, but it is not a reaction. I have watched this video twice already. I am also skipping the intro because that is irrelevant for the most part, besides from just saying what he's going to do. This is a list of what is supposed to be 7 buried. Right, and I said that in air quotes because none of them are really buried. So, and at the end of the video, I think I'll show you the actual video on YouTube, and we'll also quickly look through the comment section, because there are other people who are kind of noticing this too. But now let's actually begin with the bullshit.
There was Uru. According to semi-canon sources like The Lion King, 6 new adventurers.
First thing, they are not considered semi-canon. They're actually not even considered canon at all. They were officially licensed by Disney, but that's all Disney did. These are essentially fan fictions that Disney put their name on and to help with distribution and that. But that's all they are.
Uru is the mother of Mufasa and Scar. She was queen of the pridelands, married to a haughty, and often depicted as a wise, strong lioness who tried to keep peace between her sons. So why doesn't she appear anywhere in the films? Disney never acknowledged Uru in the official.
While all the description of her is correct, the reason she didn't appear in the films is because she's not canon. But also, there's going to be another trend, especially once we get to the number 6 spot, where you'll see that he seems to not understand this thing. So I'm gonna get more into that after this when he goes into that. But put it simply, the movie was released shortly before the books were. The books came after. Yet this numbskull apparently doesn't understand that. Which is why she wasn't shown in the movie. Also because she wasn't really relevant to the plot anyway, even if those books were canon and came out before the film did. Also, yes, this video is unscripted. I'm not scripting this. So this is still kind of a reaction video, I guess.
Cinematic timeline. She was quietly left out of all major media, even as Scar and Mufasa's rivalry became central to the franchise. Some believe this was intentional. Including Uru would raise questions about Scar's true upbringing and the fairness of royal succession.
Also, she's supposed to be buried, yet basically any single theorizer in the Lion King fan community used her as the mother of Scar until Mufasa the Lion King came out. And Disney gave their own official canon and backstory. So, unless you're trying to say Disney tried, because if they did want to bury Uru, they did a very crappy job about it.
Scar truly evil? Or did he grow up neglected by a mother who favored his brother? She didn't just vanish. She was never meant to be remembered. Fans have turned Uru into a tragic figure, a queen who watched her family fall apart, unable to stop it. And Uru wasn't the only lioness to be quietly erased. Another one, though lesser known, offered Nala a chance at a different destiny. 2. Ni, a rogue lion that met Nala. Ni only appears in one of the 6 New Adventures books, but his...
Once again, we're going off the 6 New Adventures. In fact, all but 2 of the characters will be from the 6 New Adventures books, despite them not being canon in the first place. The other one will be a cancelled character who was supposed to be in the original Lion King, but got scrapped for a multitude of reasons, since we'll go into when we go into his section of the video. And then the other one, who is the final one we get to cover, you'll see why his inclusion on this list is really, really weird.
brief presence left a lasting impression. He's a rogue lion who helps Nala and her friend escape danger. Strong, mysterious, and kind-hearted, Ni stood out from the usual rogues. Some fans saw him as a potential love interest for Nala before she reunited with Simba. Others believe Ni could have been a future threat to the throne had he remained in the Pridelands. But after that single appearance, Ni vanished.
Oh, don't tell me we're getting an ad.
Looking like study
Yep.
time.
Yeah, except I can't find the right lecture notes.
Oh, your laptop can find it. Power of Intel inside.
Cool. I wonder if I can
Can
find my
I...
roommate. Here. Find it faster with the new
No.
Copilot Plus PC powered by Intel at Best Buy.
You may get a little excited when you shop at Burlington.
Okay, Burlington and whoever that computer was, this is free advertisement for you now. Can I skip this? I don't think I can.
I'm saving so much!
Get more, spend less. Burlington. Deals, brands. Wow, I told you so.
Ni vanished. Did Disney really forget him? Or did they just...
You know what? I'm gonna do what Oversimplified does. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. Debunking this bullshit.
hide his existence asked too many questions? Disney likely dropped him to avoid complicating Nala's story.
Disney likely dropped him because he wasn't canon. Or even supposed to be in the original film. He wasn't even in consideration. That's the same thing with, Uru. She wasn't even considered, she wasn't made by Disney at all. None of the 6 New Adventures books were made by Disney. They were licensed by Disney, but that's the most Disney did. I'm not gonna close out because I had to have a struggle with this, so I'm just gonna do this on Google on my phone. Sorry that I can't show the evidence. You know, maybe if I get it close, you can hear me typing. Mega Books Incorporated. The authors were Alex Simmons, Paige McBriar, Judy Cachet, I probably butchered that, and Jonah Barkin. Probably butchered that as well. They were at most officially licensed and distributed by Disney, but that is the most Disney did. Which is why they don't appear in the canon films or media, because they weren't made by Disney, and the books are not considered canon. So when in production, Ni here wouldn't have even been considered. They're even in anybody's mind. At least on the people who were creating the film. So, I don't know why this numbskull is acting like he was chopped when he wasn't.
Giving her another suitor would clash with her eventual pairing with Simba. Still, Ni's presence hint.
Which, based on the canceled characters, even if he was, that would probably be a partial reason why he would have been cut out. You'll see when we get to that character.
World beyond Pride Rock, a world of outlanders, allies, and untold adventures. And speaking of the royal line, not every forgotten character was a stranger. Some carried the blood of kings. 3. Ahadi, the king who broke the blood.
Here we go again. The Ahadi, he was mentioned with Uru, and he basically has the same problems with Uru, but also some others.
You've heard of Mufasa, but who ruled before him? Who was Ahadi?
Actually, a lot of these, because they're all from the 6 New Adventures, I'm essentially just repeating myself over and over and over again. Until we get to the last 3.
Really? A wise ruler, or the reason Scar turned
or
bitter?
like 5,
Meet
6, and
Ahadi,
7.
A character from the extended lore, said to be the father of both Mufasa.
Bullshit! How many times does this numbskull need to hear that they're not canon? The books are not canon. They're not freaking canon. I hate to repeat myself, and I hate that I am acting as if he can hear me, because this Ning-dongus cannot hear me. Also, what the hell is a Ning-dongus?
Mufasa and Scar. He appears in The Lion King. 6 New Adventures.
That
Portrayed as
name
a
keeps
stern
coming up.
but
That's
fair
gonna be a
king,
trend.
trying to mediate the growing rift between his sons. But here's where it gets complicated. Descriptions of Ahadi differ between sources. Some depict him with a golden mane like Mufasa.
This isn't really an issue with the character, but descriptions of him can vary because there's no official design of him from Disney because he's not a canon character. I do not know what he looks like in the 6 New Adventures books because I do not know them. That's why I'm not commenting on stuff with the books themselves. Because I do not know enough about them to have a voice on that. If I'm correct, though, the design on the left, with the green eyes, black mane, and sort of goldish fur similar to mine, as you see here, is, I think, what he looked like in the book.
Others suggest he resembled Scar, raising fan theories that Ahadi may have treated Scar, then known as Taka, unfairly. This possible favoritism could explain Scar's bitterness and eventual betrayal. Disney never canonized Ahadi, likely to avoid giving Scar a...
Did this mother dumbass frickin' idiot just acknowledge that he is not a canon character? And thus why Disney doesn't put him in official things? 'Cause he just said Disney never canonized him. What the hell?
Pathetic origin, but removing him from the films also removed critical context about the royal family's past and the cycle of...
I agree. Having someone like Ahadi could have added more context to the relationship between Mufasa and Scar. But that wasn't the point of the goddamn film. That would be more of the point. If you were talking about Mufasa the Lion King, yeah, your point would be pretty good. But that's not... We're talking about the original film here, where that doesn't really matter. Because it's not about Mufasa and Scar. Or at least 100%. It's also about Simba. Simba is our main character, while Scar and Mufasa and Nala are sort of secondary mains. That's probably how you would put them. The stories of all three in the film affect Simba. Scar killing Mufasa, for whatever reasons may be, affect Simba because now he runs away, and then Nala affects him because she's the one who brings him back.
Rivalry that led to Mufasa's death. Ahadi remains a Shadow King, a ruler whose choices shaped a tragedy. He was the first in a line of erased rulers.
First in the line of erased rulers. You admitted that he's not canon, and that Disney never canonized him. So how could have Disney erased him? That does not make sense. At least, though, these are characters who may be a little more obscure to the at least untrained eye. But to people who know the Lion King franchise like myself, excluding maybe Jurassic Park and the Godzilla franchises, this is my favorite film series. And I very often watch The Lion Guard on Disney Plus quite often.
And his grandson would suffer the same fate. Fourth, Copa.
Here we go. This is probably going to be the ones where we start getting into the really, really dumb side of things.
Lion King Disney buried. If you're shocked so far, just wait until you hear who Scar might have called son. You probably remember Simba's daughter, Kiara, from The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. But did you know Simba originally had a son? Copa was introduced.
So, once again, this dumbass is going to use the 6 new adventures and treat them as if they were canon when they weren't, and use that to try and trick people or clickbait or just argue that I somehow replaced him, which we'll get into that more when he brings it up. Because if I did replace anybody, it wasn't Copa.
Produced in the officially licensed book series, The Lion King, 6 New Adventures, published shortly after the original film. As the Crown Prince, Copa was...
And then here we go. Now he's saying that it was published shortly after the original film. Yet later, he's going to act as if the characters from these books would have been on the story production of the actual films. Which, okay, maybe for the second they would, but not for the original.
Brave, curious, and a spitting image of young Simba. So what happened? When Disney developed Simba's Pride, they replaced Copa with Kiara. No explanation.
And here we are. This dumbass clearly does not understand or have done any research into the production of the second Lion King. Because, well, okay, you could make an argument that I replaced somebody, but it wasn't Copa. Because before myself, there was another male lion who wasn't Copa. If you know the production history of the second Lion King, you would know that this male lion was called Chaka. If anything, Chaka replaced Copa, and then I replaced Chaka. But I still don't see how you can make an argument that Copa was replaced by anybody when he's not even official in the first place. Like, if you want to use him in a headcanon, that's fine. He's a character that you can use in headcanon, because that's what headcanon is. It's somebody's individual take on an established canon. Me putting the animated films and the Lion Guard as a separate canon from the live action or realistic animated style movies is headcanon. Or outside of the Lion King franchise, me treating the model series of Thomas and the CGI series of Thomas as two different canons is headcanon. Because, really, they are supposed to be the same canon. There's just enough differences that you can say they're two different canons. So, why is he acting like I replaced Copa when, one, Copa wasn't even in consideration for the film, and there was another male lion in before me who, if you were gonna make an argument that Copa was replaced, it would have been a lot better to do it with him, because Chaka is Simba's firstborn, and Chaka is a male, just like Copa. And actually, if I'm correct, Chaka was also going to have a sister. Her name would have been Shani. And I think that once they decided to chop off Chaka, that Shani ended up eventually becoming me in the original films. That's what happened. But either way, it wasn't Copa then replaced by me, it was Chaka. They decided that it would be me instead.
No acknowledgement. It's like he never existed. He didn't just disappear. He was replaced. Fans theorize that Copa may have been killed by Zira, which would explain Simba's overprotectiveness and deep...
Yes, that would explain that, but we can't use that because it's not official canon. Even though, yeah, it does make plenty of sense. But it's still a theory. Not official headcanon. Not official canon. It can be somebody's official head canon, but it's not the official canon of the films. So, why? This is the major
distrust of the outsiders. Others believe Disney feared the implications of showing a prince who might have met a tragic end, something too dark for a sequel aimed at younger audiences. To this day,
no, Disney did not think of that, at least in this case, because Copa wasn't even in consideration for the film, because he's not a canon character. That's what you're missing there, numbskull.
Copa remains one of the biggest mysteries in Lion King lore. A lost heir, erased from history. And Simba wasn't the only one with a lost family member. Nala's story...
Now, actually, I don't care if you want to theorize around Copa. Hell, I'm one who does that myself. But acting as if Disney tried to bury him? Yeah, that's just bullshit.
Story 2 was once much deeper. 5. Mhitu, Nala's scrapped brother.
Finally, our first character who actually kind of makes sense to be here. And the only one.
Nala wasn't always an only child.
Oh goody, here we go again.
Fill your bagel? Of course. Fill your potatoes?
So,
eggs? And pasta? Hello, creaminess. Philadelphia, a creamy touch of magic.
Nala wasn't always an only child. Early production materials for The Lion King included a character named Mhitu, Nala's younger brother. He was meant to be a playful cub who idolized Simba and added depth to Nala's backstory. Storyboards even showed Mhitu in scenes where he was nearly killed by hyenas until Nala and Simba rescued.
So yeah, Mhitu, if you don't know, is indeed a scrapped character who would be the younger brother of Nala, but he was scrapped. But that doesn't mean Disney was trying to make you forget about him or not. No. Because he's a scrapped character. Why would you use him or acknowledge him in a film when, like, I don't understand this guy's logic. So is his so to me, this is what his logic sounds like. Mhitu was was on the storyboard and supposed to be this sort of like thing for Nala in the original film, in the original storyboards of The Lion King, and they ended up chopping him and he became a cancelled character. And because he wasn't mentioned in, like, the film, that means Disney wants you to forget about him? That doesn't make sense. Why would you make note of a cancelled character in a film where he is completely irrelevant? And even then, isn't he in the bonus? I'm pretty sure he's in the bonus features. Cheers, brother. It's been a bit since, and I don't want to go up and get it now. So okay, so no, he's not. So he's apparently not. But there is information about him, and some concept art does exist of him. So, how can you say Disney's burying him when you can publicly reach his concept art? Like, the Disney Wiki fandom page has this concept art of him on it. Like, Disney isn't trying to bury him, they're just not mentioning him because he's not relevant to the frickin' films because he's a cancelled character. And I bet if they made a thing of canceled characters, he would be there.
But as the story evolved, Mitu was dropped. His existence was erased before animation began. Why? Possibly to keep the narrative tight or avoid complicating Nala's motivations, but his removal left Nala.
That is exactly why. He was dropped for many reasons, including because they didn't want to take the focus off Simba, and as well, for time reasons. And to not overbloat the story. And as well as to not add something that's too overly dark into the film. As the film was already dark enough. So, man, you essentially hit the nail on the head with that. He was essentially dropped for time reasons and keeping the for time reasons and narrative reasons. Yet you're gonna still act like it's cause Disney purposefully
with no family,
wanted
making
him
her
to be
arc feel
forgotten.
oddly disconnected compared to Simba's royal lineage. Some fans still believe Mitu was meant to highlight the suffering of the Pridelands under Scar, especially if he had died young. Others think he was cut because his survival would require explaining why he didn't appear in Simba's pride. He didn't fail to fit the story. The story was rewritten to exclude him. Like Mitu.
No, it wasn't written to exclude him. He was just really not really that necessary of a character to have. The story would still work without him. It would add some stuff, but it's not something they would have needed to have. It's not like the film doesn't, and its narrative doesn't work without Mitu. That's why he was cancelled. That's why they scrapped him. Because he wasn't necessary. So they didn't bother to waste his time with the narrative and film and animating with him. That's why, you numbskull.
There were others in Simba's circle, cubs who vanished from the official version of his childhood. 6. Kula and Chumvi, Simba's lost childhood friends. In The Lion King...
Here we go, back to The Lion King 6 New Adventures. Now that's one out of only 2 characters actually made by Disney. Disney out of the way. The next one, our last character we'll be covering after these two. These two will be the strangest one. And the most easy to debunk.
6 New Adventures. Young Simba has 2 friends, Kula and Chumvi. They join him on adventures, tease him, and even train with him in the Pridelands. These characters gave Simba a sense of community, showing he wasn't as alone as he seemed in the original film. But neither Kula nor Chumvi made it into the movie. Why? We may never know. Disney...
Okay. So... Because... Okay. I've watched the original Lion King many times. And I never got this sense that Simba felt lonely. Maybe after he ran away after Scar tricked him into thinking he killed Mufasa, but not before that. And that would be because, yeah, no crap, he ran away. So, like, but before, I never had, like, the idea that he was lonely. Like, we see him doing stuff with Nala, playing with her and adventuring with her. And, of course, Zazu, too. And, like, there's an entire ass random song, okay, not really random, that explains his desire to become the next, next king, where he's just essentially gallivanting and having the time of his life. Did we watch the same film? Or did you watch a different version of The Lion King?
Streamlined Simba's childhood, focusing only on Nala and his journey with Timon and Pumbaa. The result? Kula and Chumbi were erased from existence.
Yeah. That's why. Nala was kept because she was supposed to be Simba's love interest. And Timon and Pumbaa, Simba would have looked lonely there because, yeah, he was lonely. But that would have been long after these two would have been around. Remember, Simba ran away. He wouldn't have brought them. And again, I'm going to reiterate, The Lion King's 6 new adventures are not canon. So nor are Chula and I forget their names. I know one of them's Chumvi. I think it's Kula and Chumvi. But they're not canon. And as well as the books, as this own dumbass said, were released after the movie. And also, these books weren't made by Disney. For the last time, they were officially licensed by Disney, but they weren't made by Disney. That's why they're not here. So, the city, I don't understand. Why?
Some fans believe Kula had a crush on Simba, and cutting her removed a potential romantic triangle. Others think Disney simply didn't want to expand the Pridelands cast more than necessary. Like Uru, Kula is another female character whose role was erased, despite her emotional impact on Simba's story. But not every forgotten character was erased out of pity or oversight. Some were buried for darker...
Okay, right before we go to the dumbest inclusion on this list. If I'm correct, Chula and Kumvi are actually... I think there are some people who actually theorize that Chula and Kumvi are actually the parents of the real parents of Kovu. Which we're gonna... Kovu's gonna be brought up in the next section. But... like... this guy just... you know, let's just get into the last one. See how dumb it is.
Reasons that challenge the legacy of the throne itself. 7. Nuka. Scar's secret son?
Yeah. Frickin' Nuka. Scar's secret son? Yeah, definitely. Nuka wasn't an entire big sort of comic relief character in the second Lion King. Or... nah, definitely don't. Just ignore. Don't. Also, what's episode 22 of The Lion Guard? Lions of the Outlands? What's that? Never heard of it.
Which of these forgotten characters surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. In The Lion King II, Simba's Pride, we meet Nuka, the scruffy, jealous eldest son of Zira. He's obsessed with earning his mother's approval, and constantly overshadowed by Kovu, Zira's chosen heir. But there's one detail
Zira's chosen. They never said he was Zira's chosen heir. 'Cause he's not. He's Scar's chosen heir. I know I might be a little nitpicky here, but I do not know how you missed that, considering it's only said, like, several times that he's Scar's chosen. There's an entire-ass song in the film, sort of centered around him being Scar's chosen heir.
Can't ignore. Nuka's resemblance to Scar, his dark mane, green eyes, even his sarcastic tone echo Scar's personality. And although Disney never...
You said he has green eyes. Do those look green to you, viewers? Didn't think so. Otherwise, yeah, he does look like Scar. He's scrawny, same fur color, similar overall head shape, similar mane color, though sometimes it looks like a dark brown like Kovu's, and other times it looks like a black, like it's actually black like Scar's. Here's
confirms it. Many believe Nuka was Scar's biological son, so why deny it? Possibly because
they never denied that he was. Hell, the reason that is basically a lot of people say he is Scar's son, or the biggest piece of evidence is saying that he is because there's a quote in The Lion King 2 where he says, where he's complaining about Kovu being the chosen one, and he complains that Scar wasn't even his father, he just took him in. That's essentially what Nuka said. Why would Nuka say that if he wasn't Scar's biological son? As well as looking the most like Scar. Besides from the mane color maybe being a little off and the eye color. But overall, his color and his body shape look a lot more like Scar's than Kovu's. Kovu essentially looks like he could be like Mufasa but recolored. Not Mufasa, Simba. And actually, I would say Kovu actually looks a lot more like the lions from the Tree of Life than Scar. Actually, even right here, Kovu looks like he might have a bit of a darker fur color, too. So,
Scar had children would complicate the narrative. It would raise questions about
are you retarded? All of Nuka, Vitani, Kovu, they're all at least portrayed as Scar's children in some way. Whether that be adopted or biological, although for Vitani and Kovu, more than likely adopted, and they're more than likely, Scar wouldn't have been that good of a father anyway, which is probably why they don't refer to him as Dad, just Scar. So, and again, that quote with Nuka around Kovu, which, let me say again, Scar wasn't even his father. He just took him in. Were you not paying attention when that was said?
legacy, bloodlines, and why Kovu, not Nuka, was chosen to follow in Scar's paw prints. Nuka didn't.
More than likely, the reason why Kovu was chosen is because, Nuka, he's not the most genetically gifted. He's pretty scrawny, not that smart, and he doesn't seem to be that strong either. That's probably why Kovu became the chosen one, and not Nuka. Actually, there's this YouTuber that I used to watch. His name's Ascari. And in his headcanon story around Zira, he actually gives an explanation that Nuka is the biological son of Scar and Zira. Vitani is Zira's daughter, but her father is a rogue male. And the reason why Vitani happened is because Scar didn't want Nuka because, well, it's Nuka. And the reason why Scar isn't Vitani's father is because they wanted a better heir, and, well, Scar's genes were terrible. But then Vitani ended up being a female. Scar wanted a male heir. So then Zira went out found Kovu when he was essentially a newborn cub and killed his parents, who could potentially be Hula and Chumvi, though we'll never know because, again, they're not official, it's just a theory. And while this is also just a theory and headcanon, it does make a lot of sense. And I actually like that idea and have it in my own headcanon. And then of what happened.
Crave approval. He craved identity. Nuka's tragic death only adds to the theory. A bitter prince, unloved.
Yeah. He wasn't forgotten. He just died. Disney didn't try to bury him. He just fucking died. And then, I'm gonna say the biggest thing now that debunks him on this claim of Nuka being covered up by Disney. Because the film was released in 1998. The Lion Guard was released between 2015 through 2019. That was the show's running. So, years later, and Nuka was featured in the episode Lions of the Outlands. Actually, he's the very first of the Outlanders we get to meet. Mainly because the ding-dong dumbass Nuka decides to randomly jump out for no reason. So, like, how can you say that? So, that wouldn't make sense why he would be featured if Disney wanted him to be covered up and forgotten.
Loved and unacknowledged, dying in a desperate bid for validation. While Nuka hasn't been forgotten, he plays a visible role in the sequel. Many fans believe Disney has deliberately avoided confirming his true parentage. If he was Scar's son...
I have never heard a single fan member say what this dumbass just said. That they think, that the fandom thinks that he's being purposely, trying to be covered up. At least the others, I guess at least somewhat makes sense, because they're, unofficial or canceled characters that didn't end up appearing in the films. But, Nuka? He plays a pretty decent role, in the second film. He's not really in a huge important one, but he's still one we commonly see throughout the film. And he's him being the neglected son of Zira is essentially what he's known for. You nut job.
It would change everything about the royal bloodline, and about Scar's
No, it wouldn't. Most people already assume he's probably Scar's and Zira's son. Because Disney, guess what? Isn't trying to cover him up.
legacy. So perhaps it's not that Disney forgot Nuka, it's that they never wanted us to look too closely.
They didn't forget him, and they never wanted him to look too closely. He's been featured outside of his debut film with the Lion Guard, and the Lion Guard is canon.
Imagine them now. Uru watching over her sons, Kopa walking beside Simba, Nuka, alone in the shadows. They were all part of the Pridelands, until they weren't. So what does it mean when Disney erases a character? Sometimes it's about storytelling, other times it's about control. Each of these forgotten figures offers a glimpse into a richer, more complex Pridelands, one filled with rivalries, tragedies, and unresolved legacies. By removing them, Disney didn't just simplify the story, they silenced entire threads of lore that fans are still eager to explore.
They didn't remove entire threads of lore. 'Cause, I mean, outside of Nuka, none of these characters are official. I mean, I guess you could make the argument around Mewtwo being a semi-canon character, because at least he was made by Disney and planned for the original film, but he still wasn't a thing in the original film. That doesn't mean he doesn't exist. Just within the canon, he could, but that's why he's probably, at best, semi-canon. Something Disney can bring up if they want to. But he's not, but unless he's brought up in official media or stated to be an official character, then we cannot treat him as such.
Forgotten prince, a hidden queen, a rival son. Now that you know they existed, the question is, do you think they should be brought back into the light? Which of these characters surprised you the most? Let us know in the...
I already knew about these characters long before this video. And do I think Disney should bring them back? Well, no. Because, besides from Mewtwo, you cannot bring them back because they were never canon things in the first place. So, conclusion. This video is fucking stupid. It is full of misinformation. And this guy is for some reason trying to mislead you. I would not care if he was just talking about these characters. It's specifically that he's trying to pass them off as or claim that Disney is trying to hide them is the issue here. Because Disney isn't. They're either just canceled characters or non-canon characters not created by Disney, and then the one character which is Nuka, is pretty much self-explanatory. So, time to look into the comments section. We see someone here. Yet someone saying Nuka. And then yeah, here's someone else. These guys are honest. These guys are just talking about some other stuff. This one is, he's talking about crediting the artists, which, yeah, I agree. If this guy didn't credit the artists, he should have. Nuka might be Scar's son as he presents Kovu getting his mother's attention, yeah. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's essentially, yeah, there's that quote. He's not even his real son, he just took him in. That's essentially what Nuka was saying. Which also kind of debunks around Kovu, around them about Disney trying to hide Scar having children. Then this guy's just talking about how he personally wished that Copa would have been in the second Lion King, which I don't have a problem with. This guy's also talking about Copa again. There's somebody who's also just as shocked as I am about Nuka being here. I'm gonna give you a like. Someone saying they could have kept Uru and Ahadi in the Mufasa movie, which, yeah, they could have done that. Which, yeah, they could have done that. That would have been pretty cool. This is why I read someone just talking about about the fan comics. And then this guy is basically saying dumbass, and then here we have someone else pointing out the bullshit, and that Nuka isn't secret, he just died, which someone replied. And then someone here is mentioning that, yeah, the books aren't canon. And then, so yeah. Yeah, to the fandom, they're semi-canon. They can be used, but they're not official canon. And then Disney could use them in official media. Yeah, but they're not officially canon. Meaning they're semi-canon, which... So yeah, he's right on that. None of them existed. Disney gave permission to make the books, but it is not that's true. Here's someone pointing out how Nuka's eyes are red like Zira's and not Scar's. I don't know how you missed that. Yeah, that also could be. Yeah, you could also say that. Why use Copa when we had a prince in the original film? Why not do something a little more unique and have a princess instead? You know, I'm gonna quickly... So that is how you... Also, that's how you spell Chaka. See, that's how you spell Chaka for anyone who is wondering. So yeah, that's another... So like, again with the... Like, why does this guy act as if Copa... Well, that's essentially gonna be it. This dumbass... When I first watched this video on Wednesday... Wednesday night, which when you guys... I'm recording this on Friday, you guys will be seeing this on Saturday. That is essentially... He pissed... This, it really got me angry. This guy misrepresents quite a bit around me replacing Copa, which isn't fucking true. Who, if anything, they did kind of make Copa official with Kion, but still two different characters. And around the stuff with Scar and Nuka, it's just, it's a complete train wreck. But that's gonna be it for today. If you are the Birdman watching this, I hope you enjoyed this little parody of your series. Thanks for inspiring me on this, Mr. Birdman. And I am excited to watch the next video in the Exposing the Grift series. Yes, I did watch the Superman video. Bye, everyone.